Of course, this is another tragically common theme in the world of infidelity stories, where the betrayed partner is victimized twice, first by their spouse, and then by the family that closes ranks to protect their own. It's a story about a special kind of gaslighting. Here is a full, original story crafted from that infuriating and painful title. My wife cheated, and her family blame me. When you marry someone, you don't just marry them. You marry their family. In my case, I married into the tight-knit, fiercely loyal clan of the Gallaghers. For 10 years, I was one of them. I was son, brother, and uncle. Her father, a stoic man named Frank, taught me how to fix a carburetor. Her mother, Linda, would slip me extra servings at Sunday dinner, winking as if we were co-conspirators. I loved them, and I thought they loved me. My wife, Erin, was the apple of their eye, the youngest, the brightest. To them, she was perfect. To me, for a long time, she was too. Our life was good, built on a foundation of shared laughter and mutual respect. We weren't perfect, no couple is, but I believed we were solid. The first hint that my world was built on sand came in the form of my work schedule. I'm a project manager for a large construction firm, and for about 6 months, I was overseeing a massive hospital build. The hours were brutal. I'd leave before sunrise and get home long after Erin and our son, Noah, were asleep. I hated it, but it was a temporary sacrifice. The promotion and bonus would set us up for years. I explained this to Erin. She kissed me, told me she was proud of me, and said, "We'll be fine. We can handle anything for a few months." During that time, she started talking a lot about a new friend from the gym, a guy named Julian. He was a personal trainer, and according to Erin, he was helping her with a new fitness routine. Soon, Julian wasn't just a gym friend. He was Julian, who helped me carry my groceries in. Julian, who gave me a great recipe for protein smoothies. Julian, who thinks I have great form on my squats. His name was a constant, casual presence in our home. I felt a flicker of unease, but I crushed it. I was the one who was never home. I was the one who was tired and distant when I was there. She was lonely. What right did I have to be jealous of a friendship? The project finally wrapped up. I came home one Friday afternoon, exhausted but triumphant, a bouquet of roses in my hand, ready to be a husband and father again. I walked in to find the house empty. Erin had texted that she was taking Noah to her mother's for a sleepover, so we could have a welcome home night to ourselves. I sat on the couch, waiting. Hours passed. My calls went to her voicemail. The unease returned, sharp and acidic now. Around 11 p.m., her car finally pulled into the driveway. She walked in, looking flustered. "Sorry," she said, not quite meeting my eye. Mom and I got to talking and lost track of time. It was a good lie, a simple lie. But she smelled faintly of cheap beer and a man's cologne that was definitely not mine. And on the back of her neck, just below her hairline, was a dark, angry-looking mark, a hickey, the kind a teenager gets, fumbling in the back of a car. The sight of it broke something in me. I didn't yell, I just pointed. "What is that, Erin?" The color drained from her face. She reached up, her hand instinctively covering the mark. The flimsy excuse about her mother died on her lips. She crumpled. The whole sordid story came out in a torrent of sobs and half-sentences. It was Julian. It had been going on for 4 months. It started as a friendship, she swore, but it became something else. She was lonely. I was never there. He saw her. The next day was a blur of raw, unfiltered pain. I told her I needed a few days, that I was going to a hotel to think. I needed space to even begin to process the betrayal. That was my mistake. I left a vacuum, and her family rushed in to fill it. When I came back to the house 3 days later to talk, I didn't find my weeping, remorseful wife. I found an intervention. Erin was there, sitting on the couch between her mother and father. Her older brother was perched on the armchair, his arms crossed. They all looked at me with expressions ranging from pity to outright hostility. Daniel, her father, Frank, said, his voice heavy with disappointment, "We need to talk about what you've done to our daughter." I stared at him, bewildered. "What I've done," her mother, Linda, spoke next, her voice trembling with manufactured emotion. "Aaron told us everything. How you've been so distant. Working all the time, neglecting her, neglecting your family. A woman has needs, Daniel, emotional needs. You just weren't there for her." I felt like I had stepped into an alternate reality. I looked at Erin, expecting her to leap to my defense, to tell them the truth. She just sat there, staring at her hands, a single tear rolling down her cheek. She was playing the victim, and they were all buying it, her brother chimed in. "She's been so lonely. Man, we could all see it. You come home, barely say 2 words to her, and you're asleep on the couch. You can't just abandon a marriage and expect it to be waiting for you." They had taken my sacrifice, the grueling hours I worked for our future, for our family, and twisted it into a weapon against me. They had reframed my hard work as neglect, my exhaustion as indifference. Her affair, her deliberate choice to betray our vows, was now just a predictable consequence of my failings. Julian wasn't a predator or a home wrecker. He was just a symptom of the disease that was me. "She cheated," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "She made a choice. She lied to me for months. That is on her. Not me. Don't you use that tone with us," Frank warned, standing up. "You drove her to it. A man protects his family. You were too busy protecting your career." It was the most profound, mind-bending gaslighting I had ever experienced. I was being blamed for being betrayed. In their story, their perfect daughter couldn't be the villain, so I had to be. Her affair was no longer an act of betrayal. It was a cry for help that I had ignored. I left that day. I packed a bag, and I walked out of my home, past the glares of the family I once thought was mine. The divorce was brutal. They fought me on everything, painting me as an absent, uncaring husband and father in court. Erin, propped up by her family's delusions, seemed to genuinely believe the narrative they had constructed. It's been a year. I have my son 50% of the time, and in those moments, my world feels right again. But the scars from that second betrayal, the one that happened on my living room couch, surrounded by the faces I once trusted, run deeper than the affair itself. To be cheated on is to have your heart broken, but to be blamed for it by the people you love is to have your reality dismantled, piece by piece, until you begin to wonder if you were the crazy one all along. You weren't, but it takes a long, lonely time to convince yourself of that.